Starting off, I'm going to be taking my Becca Cosmetics Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer, and I do carry this all the way onto the lid. And I also am going to be applying a primer. I'm going to be using the 24-Hour Eye Primer by Smashbox Cosmetics. And it might seem like a lot, but I'm also going to be applying a tad bit of concealer to still camouflage any discoloration as well as to help clean up the brows. Now I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to just very lightly make sure to blend all of this very seamlessly. And once that is all blended, I will be jumping into the eye tutorial. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam eyeshadow palette for this look. Starting off with a clean blending brush, I'm going to be picking up Tempera and I'm just going to be applying this into the crease as well as under the brow bone. Using that same brush, I'm going to take Burnt Orange and I'm going to be applying this as my transition color. So I will be applying it in the crease from the beginning of the eye and just making sure to blend that color all the way out in windshield wiper motions. Add some definition to the outer corner of the eye. I'm going to be placing Rustic on a pointed blended brush, but you guys will see that I will be switching over to a fluffier brush just because I felt like the one I was using wasn't blending much out. I will just be placing this on the outer corner, but making sure that the color blends right up to the transition color. Now for a pop of color, I will be picking up Rose Pink on a flat shader brush and I will be gradually adding this color onto my lid and also making sure that it is blended a little bit into the brown that we applied before, just so that everything looks nice and cohesive. For the brow bone, you can either do a highlight or stick with a matte shade. I went ahead and applied Tempera and I'm just making sure to kind of redefine the brow and making sure that it blends with the colors I have already applied. Since the goal of this look is to keep the eyes looking soft, I am going to be applying this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade 500 into the waterline. Of course, you can use any nude or white pencil. In order to prep my lashes, I will be applying some Tartest Pro Mascara, and I'm also going to be smoking out the bottom lash line. So I will be digging back into Burnt Orange and a bit of Sienna back and forth, and just making sure to apply this to the bottom lash line, but also being cautious that I don't darken it more than the shade that I have on the crease. Again, just going to coat the bottom lashes now, and that gets us ready for our eyelashes. I will be using Salon Perfect 650s with my House of Lashes eyelash glue. You guys know this is by far my favorite eyelash glue. I definitely feel like it's one of the few that I can cry with and my lashes will stay intact. So that might be an important factor if you are going to be an emotional bride. Now moving on to the face, I will be priming my skin using the First Light Priming Filter by Becca Cosmetics. You guys need to pay attention to how amazing this primer looks on the skin. Like, I'm in love with the effect that it gives. It just makes your skin look flawless. I know I do have a few blemishes and stuff going on, but it highlights your face beautifully. Another primer that I will be applying is the Strivectin Line Blurfector. I'm absolutely obsessed with this stuff. It does an amazing job at keeping my makeup intact. It does an amazing job at not letting these like smile lines and expression lines peek through the makeup. Now, since I do have some breakouts, I am going to be concealing those with the Bye Bye Breakout Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Fair by IT Cosmetics. And all I'm going to be doing is lightly tapping this on my skin and blending it out using my fingertips. Now to continue our flawless base, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I use the shade Porcelain, and I'm just going to be dotting this on my skin and blending it out with a beauty blender. Like always, remember to carry your foundation below your jawline and into your neck as well as your ears. The Born This Way foundation by Too Faced is buildable, and what I absolutely love is that you can get a full coverage face, but you will still look like you were born that way. As cheesy as that sounds, this is definitely a foundation that I love and definitely recommend if you are having to do your bridal makeup or makeup for any big important event. Once I have everything blended in place, I'm going to be taking this liquid highlighter by Makeup Revolution in the shade Liquid Champagne, and I'm just going to be applying this on the high points of my face where I will be applying powder highlight. But I like doing this step because under like your powders and stuff, I feel like it truly does give a luminous effect. To conceal my under eyes, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer in the shade 1N, and I'm also going to be using this exact color to highlight the rest of my face. So I absolutely love how this concealer wears throughout the day, and all I do is blend it out using a damp beauty blender. Since my waterline makeup is already done, I'm just going to make sure to be very cautious with the way that I blend the concealer that's the closest to my lash line. Now to set my under eyes as well as the rest of my face, I'm going to be mixing both of these two powders, but before I go in and apply the powder, I'm going to make sure that I go in and blend with my beauty blender just to make sure that nothing has creased. I'm also going to be taking this powder and applying a generous amount to my laugh lines as well as the rest of my face. Now you guys might think this is a lot of powder, but mixing these two would like seriously give you a filter effect without it looking cakey whatsoever. Now before I go in and swipe the powder off, I'm going to be taking this japonesque brush and just dipping it into the same powder, but I'm going to go ahead and roll into my skin, and then once I feel like everything is nice and set, I will start buffing the remainder of all of that powder off. I promise you guys, if you try this, it gives you like you're walking around with one of those Instagram filters on, like guaranteed. Now make sure that you do pay attention to this last little step. Make sure that you go in and you blend where the concealer and the powders touch your eye makeup. Since we did do the face last, you don't want any powder to be sitting on your lashes or for the eyeshadow not to blend with the concealer. So yeah, just be mindful of that. To contour, I'm going to be taking the Sunswept Bronzer Duo in Light to Medium by Jouer, and I'm going to be taking the shade Suntan to contour. I'm obsessed with the way that this specific color looks on my skin tone. I feel like it doesn't look too orange or too dark. This product has definitely given me the most natural contour I've ever come across in my life. So I'm going to be applying this to the regular areas where I normally contour, as well as sweeping it on my jawline and my chin, because as you guys can tell, my Taco Bell caught up to me. So we gotta add a little extra contour in that little chin area. I will also be contouring my nose, but I will be using the shade Sunlight from the duo. Now, since I do want to bring that rosiness back to my face, I'm going to be applying the Balm Hot Mama blush, and I'm going to be applying this to the apples of my cheeks. Now, one of my all-time favorite highlights for brides is the Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer in the shade 003, and I'm going to be applying this on my cheekbones as well as a tad bit on the side of my brows, just so that the illumination carries throughout the face. You guys know I do like applying a tad bit on my forehead as well. I will run that down the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and a tiny little bit on the chin. Now to pull that all together, I will also be applying a little bit of this highlight on the inner corner of the eyes, and you guys will see that this just literally makes everything very cohesive. Now to set the makeup in place for it to last all day long, as well as to get rid of any powdery look, I'm going to drench my skin using the Japonesque makeup setting spray. To line my lips, I'm going to be taking the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the number 600, and I'm just going to be lightly lining as well as adding a bit of center contour. The lipstick, I'm going to be using the Soft Touch Matte Lipstick by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply this onto my entire lips, and I will go back in with the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade 608 Limitless Brown, and I'm going to be using this specific shade to add some contour into the lips. You guys will see that the center line that I do and blend out makes it look like my lips are actually a lot fuller, so that's a little trick for you guys. That completes our bride look. If you are going to be a bride, I'm wishing you endless love and happiness, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Besitos!